you a different structure of playbook, not getting you accustomed to only one sort, thinking that okay, you will get the exact playbook just like this. No, okay, playbook differs from organization to organization. Few will be clearly detailed, few will be with detail along with the diagrams, few will just give just the, what do you say, just the base knowledge, like what you have to do, right? The other things you'll have to do it by yourself, right? So few we'll see. Okay, yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. Give me 1 second, and we'll also be learning about uh, brute force. Okay, so why brute force is required? Okay, and if it happens in your organization, what you have to do? What are the necessary steps you need to take? At the same time, I'll also be showing you a demo, which is not a part, but still just to make you understand, I'll be showing you a short demo. Okay, of brute force. All right. Okay. Hopefully the script is there. I don't know if I threw it or not in the bin. So let's see. Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. Is not visible or what? Okay, can you guys see my screen? If you say yes, that would be it. Are you guys be able to see my screen? Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So we'll be talking about IR. Okay, if possible, we'll cover other chapters as well, other processes as well. Or else it'll be pretty much sufficient enough to understand what we are doing today itself. Okay. Tomorrow will be, I think it will be phishing. Phishing is pretty important. We'll understand what exactly is going on. So tomorrow it's going to be really interesting. And today we'll understand the basics of certain things, certain requirements that are needed. Okay. So what is this incident response? Anybody knows what exactly is this incident response mean? Can anybody tell what exactly it is? What is IR? If anybody knows, you can let me know. And why we do it. Okay. Deepak is not aware. Responding to an alert triggered. Responding to the alert trigger, it is also a job of general analyst also, right? So what is little specific about incident response, right? Uh, yeah, that is true. Responding to a certain alert triggered, not alert, I would say incident. So alert you will be triggers because in few companies, right, there will be a IR team separately built for a SOC. Okay, apart from you being a security analyst, there is a certain people or set of group. Let's say 2-3 people will be in a separate group wherein there will be a incident handlers. Okay, so when we say the incident handlers, they are not looking at alerts; they are looking for incidences. That means no matter which alert come, it is not up to them to solve. It is for the SOC analyst to solve. Okay, it is for you guys or for us to solve. But when it comes to incident response, right, they will majorly focus on the attack vectors and attack frames itself. Okay, that the systems, if it's compromised, what they have to do to resolve it, and further how that can be prevented. That particular framework will be built by them. Okay, you understood, right? What exactly is IR? There's a difference when it comes to IR and SOC. We generally deal with alerts. They will deal with attack incidences and the frameworks. Okay. Action performed when incident is reported. Okay, yeah. Kind of a attack. It's not kind of a attack. No. We are responding. Okay. We have to analyze. No, that is the job of a SOC analyst. Okay, false positive to positive or checking. It's responsible for SOC analysts. Okay, as I said, incident response. They are meant to deal with certain incidents and making sure they build a framework or an understand the attack vectors to pretty much mitigate the process. Okay, so basically they handle data breaches or a cyber attack. Okay, they handle data breaches or cyber attack. So what is the goal of this particular incident response, right? So it is to effectively manage incidences so that the damage is limited. Okay, so basically uh, yeah, basically steps taken to halt the attack. Okay, so basically what happens is, there is already an attack, right? It's already come across, so there is nothing you can do to revert that process, right? So there is already an attack, but the main goal here is to limit the damage, right? Since the attack is already happened, it's not like, oh, attack is already happened, now we cannot do anything. The attack is already happening, right? So if we keep that mindset, we'll lose, right? So, what an incident response or along with the SOC, what they try to do is they try to limit that particular payload. Okay, if a payload is there or if it's some sort of attack, they'll try to limit as much as possible so that it doesn't compromise the entire integrity of the data in an organization. Okay, so that will be the major process. Okay. So they're trying to keep the manage as minimal as possible. Okay. So where do we learn that? All right. Where we pick up. So when it comes to incident response process, right, there are certain steps that they follow. So where will we learn that? So this particular incident response is basically a, what you call it's a how to put it? It's a standard framework. Okay, it's a standard framework that is pretty much there in all the companies. Okay, so they follow a certain standard framework. This organization, these companies, they follow IR guidelines. Okay, that's particular framework, incident response guidelines as per the standards. Okay, which they follow. It is called NIST. Okay, NIST. Let me NIST. I think it's SP 800 61R2. That means release 2. That's the release. Earlier release 1 was there. Now release 2 is there. You see here. Okay. Let it load. So these are the frameworks or guidelines we can say that usually companies follow in order to make sure they secure their process. So there are a few guidelines. So when you construct a house, right, you follow a particular blueprint, right? Without the blueprint, you cannot build a house, right? Nobody would understand the plan, right? So a blueprint is required pretty much to construct a particular house, right? Or a bridge or a building, right? A blueprint is required. That's a baseline, right? That's a guide which will help you to understand the process, because nothing you can keep it in your mind when you're working with teams, right? So you need to have a base idea where how the particular blueprint looks, how it's resolved, and how the process are meant to happen, right? So it's pretty much like a blueprint which gives you an idea how the process are there. Okay, it's a pretty much a huge book, but there are certain few other things that you can look into here. Okay, let me check. Give me 1 second. Where is that? Where is it? Yeah. So you can see here, handling an incident. There are certain stages, as I mentioned. There are certain stages. So you can see preparation here, detection and analysis, containment, eradication, and recovery. Finally, we see post-activity incidents. Okay, we'll be learning what exactly is this. I'll be explaining briefly what exactly it is, but if you want to learn more, you can certainly use this particular PDF just to understand these four. Okay, from 21 to 42, you can pretty much check it out. So keep it as assignment for you guys. Okay, look into it, what exactly is the incident response to get a deeper understanding. Okay, that will be an incident. Sorry, that will be a assignment for you to do. Okay, I'll just give you basic understanding of what exactly is that. Okay, just a overview, overlayer. Okay, so that you can understand it little better. Okay, so there are 4 stages, which is preparation, detection, analysis, containment, eradication, and recovery, and post incident activity. Okay, firstly we'll check about what exactly is preparation. Okay, so preparation is basically, we can call it as a initial stage of development of a process, right? So when you are preparing, right, you need to set up everything, right? So you need to understand what sort of plans you will be making, right? Could you write a summary? What summary exactly? I didn't understand what summary. What do you mean by summary? Summary of what? See, man, I'll talk about it. Okay, I'll talk about it. There isn't any summary sort. Okay, there isn't. I don't know. I never did that actually. It's a little weird. Okay, writing a summary of incident response. See, okay, let me check out a slide if you want. There isn't something called as summary and all. Usually, I don't follow that. Okay. Usually I don't follow that. Okay. Explain in detail. I'll explain that in detail itself. Okay. But the point here is we are not kids anymore, right? We can't write summaries and sit here. We are grown-ups. People are having experience. Few people have to understand that scenario that as an experienced people, as a grown-up, we'll have to research about it. Everything if I write and give it to you, what you'll do, right? So this is a part of the reason that I explain in pointer wise, but I'll put everything as a pointer so that you check that point, you note that point, and later you research on it. Okay, that's one of the strategies that I use, because if I write and sit, first of all, I can't explain when I write. Okay. Second of all, it's time consuming. Third of all, you will not research about it. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, that I have been facing few times. No matter how much I tell, people won't do their assignments, and they won't pretty much work on other stuff. So that's the reason I don't do all these things. Okay, so if you want, you can look at this or take a screenshot. Okay, but writing up, if we are not in college anymore, even college we never used to do, for sure. Okay, if your college used to do, but we never did. Okay, writing up summary and doing that is not possible here. Okay, we are here to learn, and we expect you to learn from your end as well. We'll teach you as much as possible, but it's also up to you how you can learn. Research in a day-to-day basis. That's why assignments are there, right? That's why I gave you an assignment. No summaries here. Okay, got it? It's for your own sake, because I see many people who are not doing assignments will struggle in the future while cracking an interview. So this is the reason I tell you, please focus on what I talk. Make sure you write down the points and research about it more. When I mentioned incident response here, right, you will also write down in your note down that it's incident response, and finally you'll be able to learn what exactly it is by checking out in the internet. When I say preparation, I have shared you the document which you'll be reading as an assignment to understand a little bit more. I'll be explaining the brief situation. I'll not be mentioning any summaries or so. We are not in school, guys. Okay, let's make that perfectly clear. We are here to understand and get knowledge, not treat like kids. Okay, but I'll definitely share you the certain slides that will help you to write it down. Okay, I will definitely do that. Okay, awesome. So where was I? I was in the preparation stage wherein, okay. So as you know, preparation stage is nothing but, understanding the situations before it, right? So you let's say for example, you are building a particular house. Download the document. Okay, you can download that particular document. Okay, it's there. I have already shared the PDF file. You can download from that 21 to 44 or 42 slide. You can pretty much check it out. Okay, and you'll understand that pretty in-depth understanding knowledge it has, it contains. Okay, so you'll understand that pretty well. Okay, that will be assignment. That's why I gave you. Okay, good. All right, so preparation. Okay, as I said, when you're building a house, right, you are aware that an engineer is pretty much aware how much bricks he need to have, how much M sand he needs to have, how much what do you call rods he needs to require for certain roles, how many labors is required for a certain period of time, and how long it will take to do the situation. So he knows, right? Based on his experience, he already knows, and he will basically prepare that beforehand. That is basically the preparation part, wherein he will prepare all the anomalies beforehand so that he doesn't face any shortages in the future, right? So it's pretty much like that. This preparation stage will be pretty much in a way that when you're actually working on some process, when if you face any issues in the future, you are already prepared to do so, right? So for example, right, a few of the scenarios wherein, let's say, building a response kit in terms of incident response. Okay, so this building a response kit, what happens is, okay, what happens is, you can take the screenshot of that as well if you can't write it down. Okay, we are not in a era where we write it down. We basically keep a soft copy. So everybody make a habit of keeping a soft copy of everything. Don't write it down, it's stressful. Okay, so in preparation, let's take a small example wherein example as in we'll build a response kit. Okay, response kit. So what do you mean by response kit is, so before the preparation, as I said, we have to be aware of the further situations, right? That's why we do preparation stage. In the preparation stage, okay, we build a response kit to make sure we secure the future. Okay, if something happens in the future, we are already ready. Okay, if in some incidents happen, we are already ready, right? So here, what happens is, in the response kit, we already be taking care of digital forensic workstation. Okay, digital forensic workstation. Okay, which is pretty much like a lab, virtual lab. Okay, virtual lab. Let's say a VMware lab setup. Okay, this is meant for if in case some incidents happen, if some issue happens, so some malware has struck the particular endpoint. Okay, what happens is we'll have to understand what exactly this malware is, how it basically works. So what happens is we copy the particular file of a malware, we upload it in the virtual lab, which is a separate environment from our natural environment. Okay, so in the lab we'll try to detonate that particular malware. Okay, we'll detonate in the sense we'll try to open and run that particular malware, basically understanding the flow. Okay, so we'll get to know what kind of flow that particular malware is, where kind of it goes, what kind of registry if it makes changes to, if it's attacking our registry, right? If it's going in search of some credentials, right? Credentials or registry, or let's say if it's going to our shared files, right? So it's trying to understand or do something. So we'll understand what exactly this malware is behaving, right? So that's why we need this particular setup. So along with we need forensic software as well. Forensic softwares. Okay. Packet capture devices. Okay, this is a must when it comes to few networking related issues, right? We need backup drivers. Okay, we need backup. We need a good network gear. Okay, network gear is necessary. Okay, so why we need network gears is because at any point in time, if you want to log into a remote investigation, we need these network gears to pretty much handle the process. The remote investigation. Okay, so at this point in time, who will come in contact with the process? Who will be working in this process? There is something called as CSIRT. Okay, did you guys hear about CSIRT? Anybody heard about what exactly is CSIRT? No. So the CSIRT is basically Computer Security Incident Response Team. Okay, these are the people who will be handling an incident. Okay, so in majority of the company, there will be a SOC team, there will be an incident response team. So there will be two different teams. Okay, two teams. But in few companies, okay, somebody has said. Okay, so in few other companies, what happens is SOC team itself will be the incident response team. Okay, so you guys itself will be working as incident handling team itself. So that's the reason I spoke about these few of the details wherein you need to understand what exactly is vulnerability management is, what exactly is incident response processes. So you need to understand these kinds of situations to handle those events, right? At least have a base knowledge, right? So that's the reason. That is how a particular incident response team would combine pretty much be able to work on that particular process. Okay, based on certain norms. Certain norms being as an example, an incident response kit would be available for them to understand and check out the process as well at the same time. Okay. So the another phase is detection and analysis. Detection and analysis. Okay. Detection and analysis. Wherein here we talk about when exactly the detection occurs. When I talk about detection, is pretty much the alert that is being triggered based upon your correlation rule. Okay, so it could be a ransomware, it could be a malware. So based on the detection, you will be able to identify certain stuff, right? So that is where that comes into picture. And as a trained understand. Uh, So basically what happens is, and in this point in time, you will understand what exactly that particular alert is triggered for, and you'll do further process of your analysis, right? So you'll do passive analysis at the same time. So what exactly is passive analysis? That means is basically you'll work on packet capturing file, which will be your passive analysis process. So alerts that are triggered from either from IDS, IPS, or detection that is triggered from your IDS, IPS, your SIM, your firewall, or your EDR tool, which will be understanding. You know what exactly is detection, right? Based on a signature value frame, you will be able to identify a particular issue, right? So after that, what you'll do, you'll pretty much basically analyze the particular process with the help of network devices or network flow or endpoint logs. Based on different logs, you'll be able to analyze what exactly is going on, right? So these are a few of the process when it comes to incident response process. Okay, detection and analysis, nothing major, just alert and raw log checks will be doing in this particular process. Pretty much what a IR would do. Okay, how you detect and how you analyze will be your on the list. Next is containment and recovery. Okay, so containment, eradication, and recovery. Here, what is done is basically here containment is pretty much quarantining the process. Okay, eradicating is remove all killing the process or removing the particular malware, and recovery is pretty much restoring the backup drives. Okay, we also call it as DLP. Anybody knows about DLPs? DLP is nothing but please learn about this as well. What exactly is DLP? Okay, this is also a small assignment. Okay, you don't need to, no, not data leakage, it's data loss prevention. Okay, data loss prevention. So read about this more, because many of the organization now they are started asking for DLP as well. Okay, how you will secure, what are the, it's a pretty big topic, but at least understand the basic what exactly is DLP. It would pretty much give you a good idea what exactly is going on. Okay, this is a separate topic. It's related to, entirely related to how you secure the data, how you pretty much get backup drivers. Okay, so in case if something goes wrong, if the server is compromised, how backup system works based on DLP. Okay, this is a separate topic. It's a huge topic. Okay, you are handling DLP projects. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good to know. So majority of the companies, they are asking what exactly is the DLP. Have you have knowledge about it? So that's a separate drive. So read a little bit about it. It's just a question they'll ask. They don't want you to completely fully understand, but they need people to have knowledge about it and talk about it at the same time. Okay. Read about it. If you have any confusion, you let me know. I'll give you some processes wherein you can focus on few major things about DLP. Okay, which you have to focus on, I'll tell you. But read it first, understand it first. If you find it acceptable, then it's fine. Or else you come up with your doubts, you can talk to me, and I'll give you a few of the key pointers there. Okay. All right. So containment, as I said, is pretty much quarantining. Eradication is nothing but killing or removal of the process, and recovery is basically the DLP. Okay. So here we are pretty much. This is the process where we, as I mentioned earlier, we prevent the further spread of the malware. Okay, right? We are basically handling the data breach at this point in time, wherein you will identify after your analysis, after your detailed research, you will basically identify this is what going wrong in this particular process. Basically, you'll contain it. Okay, add a block list or for in terms of URL, IP, or domain. Add a block list for that. Raise a ticket, and ask the system administrator to remove the particular malware from the domain, right, with the file path and with the recommendation. And finally, if any data is lost, we'll use backup to recover that particular data. Or what we can do is, so let's take an example. Can anybody tell me? Okay, can anybody tell me? I'll give you a short example. If you're working as a SOC analyst, okay, keep yourself in that position. You're working as a SOC analyst. This is basically an interview questions. I pretty much ask majority of the joiners. Okay, let's see how you all able to answer that. Okay, this is a tip. Okay, let's say you'll get to know that a particular system has been compromised. Okay, it has malware. Okay, so you have analyzed that particular malware, what exactly it is, and you have raised a ticket and resolved the issue. Okay, basically you have said the system administrators saying that this is the issue, this is a particular file that has been compromised, and this is in this particular drive and this path. So please remove this, right? So this has been removed. So what happens is, again after 1 or 2 days, it again pops up. Okay, and it keeps popping up. So what will be your recommendation? What will you do? Can anybody has any idea? Just an example. It's not that I just want to know if people have any idea about it. Anybody? Okay. Isolate device, quarantine the server or the host. Okay. Quarantine the host, reboot the system, safe mode. Safe mode and kill the process from there. Safe mode. Okay. We have to boot the system. No. From the environment, from prod environment. I don't know what does that mean. We'll check the whether malware is available in some other files. Okay. Reopen the ticket, send it back to the system. No, the point is here it keeps popping up no matter what. Okay. What after disconnecting the system? How will you basically clarify it? Right? Disconnecting it, we cannot definitely reboot it, but the reason being, we don't know the structure of the malware, right? So if we try to reboot it, what if the particular system itself get crashed, right? Because it might do some changes in the kernel or the particular OS itself, wherein that's why we never try to reboot or shut down the process. Okay, the reason is majorly it will become faulty when it comes to while you're rebooting or while you're doing something else. Okay, and remove the devices from the network. Okay, even after analysis, you have removed the particular system in the first time, and again it start popping up. What will you do? Analysis part is already done. You know what exactly that particular malware is. That's an advanced persistent threat. If you know about that, APT. That these kinds of issues, what happens is they even if you clear it, even if you do a full scan, it will still remain and it will pop up right back. So what will be your major course of action? Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, one person. Okay, we'll keep that process for the long time process. We need to isolate that particular device. So that's a good pointer. We need to isolate that particular device, but at the same time, there is some easy solutions at the same time as well. Okay, so have you ever heard of reverting back to the previous stage? That is basically a snapshot, if you call. If you know what exactly I'm talking about. Do you guys know about that? Snapshot? Yeah, yeah. Basically restoring the previous process. Okay. Okay. So the people who know about this, does it make sense? Reverting back to the previous snapshot? Yeah. Exactly. Right? It makes sense, right? You don't have to do isolate it and do other some process, right? We can majorly work with this process if it's not getting cleared, right? Reverting back to the snapshot will definitely work. Okay, okay, I'll explain that. So let me tell you. Sorry about this. Okay, so this is your working process. Okay, so here what happens is, let me give a small example as a yeah, rollback. You can also call it as a rollback. Going to the previous snapshot or rollback. There are certain names for it. Okay. So here what happens is, let's say you are a developer. Okay, I'll give you an example of a developer. Okay. So you are developing few scripts for your environment to launch it. Okay. So what happens is in this particular, let's say this is a SNAP snap short one. Okay, so here what you'll do some changes and you'll save it. Okay, you'll save it because as you know, in Excel and in Microsoft, you'll save immediately after you doing some process, right? So that it doesn't automatically when you close it, make sure that it remains there, right? So when you're saving it, we call it as a snapshot. Okay, we'll call it a snapshot. So this much is pretty much right, accurate. Okay, so we'll save it. So again, we'll start with the process. Again, we'll continue with the process. Again, we'll name it as snapshot 2. Okay. In the third time, when we are doing it, what happens is something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. There is some issue. Okay. Something goes wrong and there is an issue and we are not being able to rectify it. It again and again, it pops the same error. So what he has to do? He can't clear it, right? He can't clear it because it's already been embedded. So he can't do anything. It's already in the environment. It's already been embedded, and it's majorly facing an issue in the environment. People are seeing some errors related to that. So what he has to do, he is not being able to fix this because the entire process itself is wrong, right? So what he'll do, he'll do a rollback, basically going to the previous snapshot. So when he clicks to this particular process, when he is going for the snapshot 2, that means this particular process is completely erased. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. So it's like it's blank. It like, you know, do and undo, right? Undo, you know, in certain MS, wherein we'll plus undo and it'll revert as a, now I'll do undo. I did undo, right? So you can see here I've removed everything, right? Whatever I am showing you, I'm removing it, right? So this is pretty much like that. Okay, it's undoing the protocols. Okay, the rules, the protocols, what are they doing? They're undoing that particular rule. So basically, they're reverting back to the previous snapshot. Basically, roll back. Okay, so this is how you can pretty much do the same process for the malware also. Okay, so if in case the particular system has been compromised, what if it's APT, advanced persistent threat, this is one of the pointers wherein you can use this particular process to basically remove the process. Okay, since malware, we need to definitely remove the particular malware. This is one option to consider. Basically, reverting back to the previous snapshot will be definitely helpful, right? So whatever the changes here, what he made is definitely lost, but at least we make sure that but definitely this will be in the backup devices, right? Backup devices, but at the same time, this particular process will be logged back also. Understood, right? How a rollback works, how a snapshot works. Did you guys understand how exactly this process works? Yeah? Any doubts? Yes? No? Don't know? Advanced persistent threat is basically related to, let's say, I'll give you a small example. Uh, let's say a particular PDF file is compromised. PDF file is compromised. Okay. Now, what you understand is this particular hash signature is wrong. This signature is pretty much bad or malicious. Okay. What happens? This particular malware is categorized as an advanced persistent threat. So what happens is, even if you delete, right, it will embed few of the codes in different places. Spread its tails everywhere whenever it's trying to. So no matter how much you delete, the initial process of trigger, okay, run or trigger will always remain. That means even if you delete it, if this chunk is somewhere else out there embedded in some other files or process, it will start from the initial phase itself. That means how it got affected, it will samely create exactly replicate itself again. Okay, this is called advanced persistent threat, wherein even if you delete it, it will come back again. It will restart the process again, and it will form out the entire existence again. Okay, it will get embedded in different files. Okay, and it will try to trigger. No matter how much you delete, it will pop again and again. So that's the reason these APTs are pretty much bad, and it's better to remove when in the initial phase itself. Okay, before it's entering to the file. Okay. I understand this rollback process, but attack is happened. How it will be resolved? That's what I said, right? So that at this certain point in time, the attack, what time attack happened, right? Let's say attack happened 10:40. You got the alert. It happened at 10:40, right? So you can roll back to the previous process wherein you might have saved or your system would have automatically saved to the previous rollback wherein it would have saved at 940, right? Or 840. So at this point in time, we will have different snapshots wherein we can revert it to the previous, which is the more clear nearby situation. We can revert it to that point. Okay. So rollbacks in that particular process happens in that way itself, wherein it will pretty much give a scenario wherein it will get saved at a certain point in time. Okay. So using snapshot, you can pretty much go back to the previous scenario when it was lastly saved. So that means the time of an attack, it doesn't matter. It already went back to the 940. That means this particular alert never triggered. It's been removed. So what means when the work is saved at 940, it will remain at 940. Then you'll have to continue back to the process again. Snapshot will pretty much will be automatic sometimes if you're working on a particular tool or a particular process. Even VMware has snapshots. So it depends on the system administrators where they can do, because they'll have the more depth. We cannot do it. We'll have to ask the system administrator to revert back to the snapshot. Okay, so that is one of the way. Okay. Yeah, we give appropriate and recommended solutions. It's not like this is the only way. Based on your analysis, based on the malware report, you will recommend this process. If you find that even rollback wouldn't suffice, then you'll have to isolate that particular system and do a incident response check on that particular process. Basically, annihilating the every bit of it. Basically, let's say like it's a flash. You're doing a flash to your what do you say, so system wherein you will be removing everything, even the entire document as well as your particular malware, including your malware. The entire OS will change. So instead of doing so much, you can basically revert back to the snapshot, which will be pretty much easy, right? It's just 1 hour of backup will be containing. But when you remove the entire OS, the system will be completely clean. That means you are entirely erasing everything in the backup. Again, it has to come back. So it's a lengthy process, right? Man, dude, I had explained so well. Where were you? Yeah. See, if I have time, I'll explain it again later. Okay. Or else you already have the recording. You can check it once again. Okay. See, that's the reason I tell you, focus in the first stage very well. If you have any doubt, ask it off. Okay. Because we can't do that again and again. Time is very limited, right? We have a lot of things to cover. And later you guys will blame us only because you guys have not covered it. Time won't be sufficient, right? So you need to listen very carefully. That's why I talk about few things very properly. Okay, I'll explain you. Whenever I get the time, I'll explain about this rollback. Don't worry. Okay, no worries. I'll explain you. Okay. Okay. Any other question, guys? Any other question? I left it out. Apart from rollback, rollback will work again later on. Okay, so this is how containment, eradication, and recovery pretty much works upon. Okay, hope you understood the complete process, how things revolve and how things work. Right, guys? Do you have any confusion? I want everybody's clarity over here. There are many people who are sitting here and sitting idle. I don't see any messages from there. So I need everybody's reply. Explaining the previous slide, you mean this? This. Like you said, isolated the system from the network. How about if the server got infected? Server also will get isolated. Similarly, see, server is no different from the machine. If the server got infected, that also will be isolated. So you know servers has backups, right? You have a backup server as well. We call it as primary and secondary server, right? So when the primary server will get infected, that will also go through the same process. Okay. Basically, what we do is we isolate it from the network and we'll try to do a detailed research about it, right? It's a server, right? So it's not a system, it's a server. It harbors entire data, but it's also a good thing because we have a secondary server. We'll attach that in place. So what was the secondary server now will act as a primary server because primary server will be taken out. So we'll do the necessary changes. If I don't think so, reverting back will be a good option for the server. But we can remove the entire process and do a DLP, data loss prevention, and do get a backup because backup is already there, right? So server we can compile completely, remove it and do the process all over again because already backup server will be there. Okay, got it? Okay, in OneNote, is it this one? Okay. Pretty much if it's a production server or any, I'm talking about production server itself. See, production server, do you think production servers won't have any facilities? Okay, I wanted to give you yesterday one more assignment. Can you check from the past to 5 years what were the major compromises happened, right? If you see Amazon got compromised, right? Sony got compromised, right? So many of the great deals that are out there got compromised, and they had taken down their primary server and utilized the secondary server and pretty much removed the entire server itself. Okay, so it happens in prod as well. Okay, so in prod also you will face these kinds of issue. That time you'll have to take some harsh decisions, right? So you'll have to remove that particular primary server which got infected, fix your secondary server which acts as a primary server, and basically remove the particular process. Got it, guys? Even in servers also we'll be facing this issue. That's the reason we'll have to pretty much annihilate this situation at the early phase. Got it, guys? Any doubt? Production server also is one and the same. Got it? Any doubt? Okay. Any doubt, guys? People? Fortuna sitting? What about them? Okay, so I'll give you some additional information also. In containment, eradication, and recovery, there are few other five steps as well. Okay. 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 Good. Okay. Servers do have backups. So all the servers, not let's say not all the servers. When I talk about servers, right? Servers which are harboring the data. Not everybody would not focus on DNS server or other servers, right? People will focus on the servers which harbors data, which has data, right? So only those kinds of servers will get affected. What is the end goal if the attack is trying to attack some other server which doesn't even make sense? At the end, their major focus is data. Okay, so you will not go to a jewelry shop and start picking up cameras, right? You're not doing that, right? You're not doing that. You're entering to the jewelry shop to steal something, right? Your major focus is jewelry, not the containers, not something that holds it, not the CCTV camera, not the lightings, just the jewelry, right? So the attackers also focus will be that their end goal is to secure the servers which contains or which harbors data. So they will majorly focus on that. Okay, so they'll infect that particular machine so that they can take it out. Okay, so that's the major thing. You'll have to think in attacker's perspective. Okay. Even if it's there, hitting other servers, right? Like DNCP, DNS server, they can't, affect it. They'll hit. They'll make sure it is renderable. It takes the load, but at the same time, they won't do much of the stressing over there. They'll do the work where the data is harbored. Okay. Yeah, we can bring up the disaster recovery. So at this point only, in case when the primary service goes down, DLP will act. DLP will further trigger data recovery. Okay, disaster recovery at that point in time will work that particular process. So that's where DLP and all will come into picture. Okay, so when the disaster recovery strikes, the process will pretty much work on DLPs as well. Okay. Application, see, every server has its own backup. Even firewall has its own backup. Okay, so you can't tell that nothing is out there which is tripping along, right? So you can't tell that only one server is there, which if that is lost, then there is nothing, right? So every bit of detail will have a backup. So if your data is having backup, there are other things which also have a backup solutions. So we can't tell for everything we'll create a backup because it's not easy, right? Only if it's a major scenario, we'll take it as a backup, or else everything will be resolved at that point in time itself. Okay, that's why we have so many security and correlation rules, SIM, firewall, IDS, IPS, so many things are in place because it will be detected in the early stage itself. We are not reaching to the end, right? These are the things which I talk about is when everything loses control, finally it will attack. Finally, this incident response team will work, right? So it's not that incident response team will only work on the most messed up situations. They'll also work in some other cases as well. But this is the end point I'm talking, right? So when the server itself is getting compromised, right? That is a major deal. So it doesn't happen often. It's pretty rare. Okay, it's a rare case scenario. Okay. But still you need to have an idea what you'll have to, because our goal is to be prepared for every situations, right? So that's the reason. Okay. Okay, hopefully everybody understood that. We'll move further. I'll give you a short explanation of few other things as well. This containment, recovery and eradication, okay, have few other steps as well, 5 steps. You don't have to explain that during the interview. You can, in the interview, if they ask about incident response process, do you know the process life cycle and all, you can just mention preparation, detection and analysis, containment, recovery and containment, eradication and recovery. Okay, these few steps you can pretty much mention. But apart from that, for your knowledge sake, I'll be explaining few other 5 pointers as well. Okay, for your knowledge. Okay, first pointer is under this pick. Sorry, it became Rick. Pick, containment, pick containment strategy is the first one. Okay, use strategy to limit the damage incident. The same thing which I explained. To give you a much detailed explanation, I'm writing down. Okay, gather evidence needed for potential failures. Okay, identify attacking system. Removal of incident and recover normal business operations. Okay, these are the 5 things you can pretty much mention. Okay, got it, guys? I never do that, but since you had asked for something to write and all, so I have written it down. Okay, so these are the few things that you will be understanding what exactly is going on, right? Pick up containment strategies, right? What are the containment strategies are required, right? So what do you call infected, what kind of strategy you need to use to contain it, right? So you need to have necessary tools to contain that. You need to have, as I said, we already spoke about uh, in the preparation stage itself, what kind of details that we'll be requiring, right? Digital forensic workstation, packet capturing devices, net backup device, pretty much the same thing. Okay, so you'll have something to contain the particular process and pretty much review the process. Okay, the end goal of this containment strategy is to make sure we are providing high availability to the users. So no matter what, if it's a server's also compromised, let's say this particular server has been compromised. Okay, and what you'll do, you'll contain that particular process by isolating the particular server itself. So our what is the end goal? If our servers are pretty much isolated, so let's say it's a web-facing web server which harbors the data, right? Or which provides the solutions for the data. So someone who is trying to access it will not get it, right? So that's why when we isolate it, we will also set up a backup driver, backup server, so that people instead of this they can focus on this. They'll come to the backup and they'll fetch and they'll go. So until this is resolved, this will be our primary server. Then once this is resolved, we'll keep it back to normal. Okay, we'll keep it back to normal. So that's how things work. So these are the containment strategies where we'll provide high availability, providing uptime to the users as much as possible. Okay. Second is use strategies to limit the data, limit the damage incident courses, right? So what we'll do is we'll use strategies to limit the process. So let me give a small example how exactly this is there. Second pointer, wherein how we'll deal with the situation. Everybody knows about DDoS attack, right? Anybody who doesn't know what is DDoS attack? Everybody knows what exactly is DDoS, right? So let's take an example for DDoS itself. Okay, so this is your server. Okay, now you have an attack. Okay, now you have an attack. This is a server. You will have multiple DDoS attack. So when the attack happens to the DDoS, maybe network traffic, yeah. Whenever there is a DDoS attack happening, right? What happens is when the server is taking huge number of load. Okay, so we have different solutions to mitigate this process as well at the same time. Okay, how we can pretty much limit the damage. So we are actually talking about the second pointer wherein we are actually limiting the damage. Okay, this one we are talking. This one we are talking. So basically limiting the damage. So I'll talk about how we can limit the DDoS solutions. Okay. So attack is happening to the server. Server is facing heavy load. So it's up to us how we can pretty much work out this process, right? So we can redirect it to multiple phases. So we'll redirect it to something called as we can redirect. First is the load balancer. You know about load balancer, right? What exactly is load balancer? Hope you know about that. Load balancers, right? So what happens is this load balancer will pretty much split the task. Okay, will redirect this traffic to the load balancer, wherein they will split the particular task to different servers. So whenever this particular server reaches its threshold, right? That means let's say it's only 200 or 300 gigs of storage capacity. It's already reached close to 200 or 250. That means anything more than that will permanently damage the server, right? It will damage the server, it will make the server useless, right? So in order to avoid that, we'll send the traffic to the load balancer, where the main process of the load balancer is to split the particular traffic and give it to different servers. So different servers will be taking the load for a brief amount of time. And this DDoS attack will not be, let's say, it only takes maximum time frame of a DDoS attack is 5 to 20 minutes. A huge attack, huge attack, huge attack. Okay, because I deal with the DDoS in day-to-day basis, so I know what kind of attacks and how frequent are the attacks are there. So I see major, big, very huge attacks. Let's say 300 gigs, 400 gigs. We'll see maximum up to 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes. Okay, let's stick up to this number. Okay, 5 to 20 minutes. In this time frame, you'll see a long, big attack. So there'll also be two types of attack. One is a huge attack, one is a small attack. The small attacks will be pretty much small, but it keeps on coming. So let's say it comes up to 2 hours, minimum time frame from 2 hours to 1 whole day, okay, or 1.5 day. So let's take 32 hours. So an attack will happen in this frame also, 2 hours to 32 hours. It's a small attack, okay, small KB attack it will be going on. But again, if it's going for a day, it will also come up to 200 gigs. Okay, it's a small attack, but it's a lengthy attack, long attacks. Okay, this is huge and short. This is long and slow attack. Okay, slowly they'll be attacking for one particular source. So at that point also will pretty much help with the help of, if our storage is not taking up to that part, we'll pretty much send it also. Okay, and these are pretty small attacks. Let's say this is let's close to 200 gigs, 200 GB of attacks. Okay, this process will sums up to 60 to 80 GB. That's it, 60 to 80 GB. Okay, but it will be a lengthy process. Small attack will be happening so that you won't notice. Okay, but it will be happening throughout the hours. So these are the two types of attack wherein the necessary we won't use load balancer for this, because server will be able to handle that capacity for slow and normal attacks. But when we have a huge attacks, we'll basically split the load into different processes. Also, we can also use what we call it as a cloud clusters. If you have the clusters, clusters, okay. So if you have something called as cloud storage also, we can use clusters to basically do same types of process wherein we'll split that particular load to instances. You have multiple instances wherein the buckets are stored. Okay, so you can send it to clusters wherein the instances will be able to disperse the traffic to different scenarios. Okay, so that's how you can pretty much avoid a DDoS attack. Okay, there is something called as some other process also, which is pretty similar to one process wherein not sure we use this often, but this is not meant for huge attacks, but some sort of attacks we can direct. Okay, this is called DNS sinkhole. This is called DNS sinkhole, wherein what it does is it has multiple other ability also, but at the same time one of the ability. Okay, first pointer of the ability is dropping the packets. So what happens is, when I mentioned dropping the packets is, let's say the request is coming, right? The requests are coming. So every request have a waiting period of, let's say, 0.02 or 4 seconds. Okay, so at this point what happens is this process will stick up to only that point in time. Okay, anything more than 0.04 or 0.03, it will start dropping, because see, you know about how a packet works, right? TCP handshake, you know, SYN, it will send a packet, will send SYN. This will acknowledge, SYNACK it will send, right? You know, right? And this will send ACK. So what happens? This server will send SYN, and our server will send a SYNACK. But this server, this is attack server, they will never send ACK. They will never send ACK, acknowledgement, right? So they will keep on sending SYN. So this all will fall under waiting period. So which doesn't give this value for us, we'll hold it for a certain time frame, milliseconds, and we'll start dropping that packet. automatically. If there is no response, it will start dropping the packets automatically. So the load has been reduced. So every second it's coming, at the same second it's going also. So that means load capacity has been reduced. So that's a good thing about DNS encode. Okay, guys, good. Did you understand how the DDoS attack works? So you can basically explain this to the interviewer also. Okay, so you'll have a good understanding about how DDoS works, right? So these are the few of the situations a small scale industry would do, right? A huge scale industries will have certain tools for that to do it automatically, like Arbor. If you know about Arbor, it's one of the top DDoS preventing tool, and it's pretty expensive. Not every company uses it. Only few of the companies, handful of companies uses it because it is pretty damn costly. Okay, and not every organization require that particular process also because it's not needed. A sinkhole, that's sinkhole, DNS sinkhole. Okay, it's meant for DDoS attacks, specifically meant for DDoS attack. Okay, all right. So let's go with another process wherein third one is gathering evidence needed for future potential failures. So this is pretty much up to once the attack is already there, you will gather evidence how it came from, where it came from, and how to tackle it in the future. Right. So that's what we are looking for. So we'll be focusing on that. So we'll gather evidences, whatever, however, if it was a compromise through a phishing attack or some other domain. So we'll notify that particular so that we can prevent it further. Okay, that is the third point. Fourth point is identifying the attacker system, right? Basically checking for the threat attacker itself, who is attacking. Okay, few will do people who have a pen testing team, red team. They'll do reverse engineering. Engineering to trace back. Okay, but it's a pretty rare case scenario that you will find attacker. But pretty much these kinds of process will be done to identify who the attacker is. Basically, with the help of incidents and with the help of evidence itself, we'll try to trace back the process. Okay, and the final point is removal of incidents and recover of normal business approach. Okay, operations. So basically, it's the same thing, DLP, wherein we'll remove the certain incidents and recover the normal. Basically, launching of DLP or disaster recovery in case if there is a total loss of data. Okay, understood, guys? These are few of the things that you need to understand. Okay, final point is post activity incident. Post activity incident. So in post activity incident, this comes on your head basically. So what happens here is this you have to report or document. This is basically a report. So whatever happened after the incident, you will have to document it or report it. Okay. At that point in time, you will be asked, was there any impact? Okay, any impact, right? You'll have to detailedly document of all these things. Was there any SLA breach, right? Was there did the playbook work, right? Did the playbook utilize well? The impact details, any downtime that has been faced, right? What was the time taken to resolve the issue, right? And what was the action performed? What are the remediation steps? So these are the things that you will basically report in the post-incident activity to basically sum up the process, what exactly had happened, right? So at the end, what you'll do a small presentation, or do a meeting wherein you'll talk about the incident itself at that point in time. These are the certain questions that the higher authorities will be asking. Okay, so this will come up to you. Okay, guys, understood about the incident life cycle? See here. You can take a screenshot, guys. You don't have to write it down. Okay, take a screenshot of this. It will pretty much resolve. You can make a note out of it later. Okay. So this is pretty limited. That's why I don't want it to show you, because you will stick up to that. So I have elaborated and explained you certain things, wherein after you understanding this, when you read this, it will pretty much make sense. You understand the process pretty clearly. Okay. All right, guys. So take a screenshot of this. We'll work with Playbook right now. Okay. The time is already passed. Did everybody take the screenshot? Any doubt, guys? I need yes or no from everyone. All 37, 38 people are there here. I need everyone's correct response. Go. Did everybody understand? Do you have any doubts? We'll do Playbook quickly. Okay, because it's already time and I have to cover 2 more processes as well. Okay. Did you guys understand? Was it useful? Okay. Hopefully you've taken the screenshot. Yeah, now we'll go to. Okay, guys, cool. Yeah, why it's acting like this? Okay, awesome. So hopefully you can see the screen, right? I'll not be sharing this document, guys, because this is confidential. This is from a company's detail. So if you want, you can take a screenshot, but I won't be sharing it. Okay. Got it? So let's come to a playbook wherein we are checking out how things are done here. Okay. So you can see there is an alert which says this is a playbook for login attempts. Okay, so login failure attempts. Okay, login failure. So there is an failure for login failure attempts within 10 minutes. Okay, within 10 minutes of time, few people did the logon attempt which failed. That's the reason this alert got triggered. Okay, so this is the runbook of a tool which is Azure Sentinel. Okay, it's used in a few of the companies, Azure Sentinel. Okay, so this will understand basically what you'll have to do in terms of logon failures when you get an alert such as logon failures within a certain point in time. Okay, this 10 minutes is dormant. It's not relevant that it's only be 10 minutes. It depends on the organization what they would try to do. Okay. Yes, you're working on Azure Sentinel. That's a good thing, right? Okay. So you can see here, check the logon failure attempts within 10 minutes. Let's go through pointer wise, because this is pretty much easy for you to understand, because it's in the step-by-step process. You will get to know immediately after reading this itself. Okay. So hopefully you can you guys read it? You can read it, right? Okay. So firstly, when this alert happened, what we'll be doing? So this will be your SIM tool, which is Azure Sentinel. Okay, you see here, this is your SIM tool, which is your Azure Sentinel. Finally, we'll check what exactly from step-by-step process, how we can deal with it. Okay, since you are not familiar with these kinds of process, this playbook should be definitely helpful for you guys, and it should be easy for you guys to understand the process itself, because it will be written in a detailed manner. This is a playbook. Okay. Check the logon failure attempts within 10 minutes. Okay, alert from the Sentinel portal. Okay, Sentinel portal. Okay, and this is the issue, and you can see the red mark over there, which is an alert triggered. I'll zoom it for you. Okay, if you can see here, logon failure within 10 minutes, one alert is there, and during this time frame and last updated time. Okay, owner is unassigned, so you can click on here and assign yourself. Okay, that's how things work. So let's see what is the second pointer is. Okay, click on the alert to check the details about the severity. Okay, owner of the alert, evidence and entity, then click on view full detail for the next step. In the evidence, we will get the information about the events, alerts, and bookmarks and entities. We will get the information about the host, IP, and URL. So this pretty much talks about, pretty much as I said earlier, click on this, assign yourself to your owner, get the detail from there. So who was the person who tried to access this particular process? What is the host name? What is the IP, right? And what was the time? So you'll gather few necessary details from the description, okay, from the detail. So these are the first initial step that you will be taking while before researching the process. You will be learning a few of the stuff, okay? So you know what you need to grab, okay? You don't need URL details. It maybe, may not be, but host IP, account, what was the account, what was the IP. So these are the few critical information that you need to identify. Okay, so you can see the incident here. The incident ID is already written. Okay, severity is low, right? Status is active. Owner, it's already been assigned. You can see one alert and there are 3 events. Okay, that means 3 events you can see in terms of the process. Okay, so you can see 3 events, 3 accounts, okay, and 3 hosts. So you can see different process that's been triggered. Within 10 minutes, there are 3 hosts that got triggered. There are 3 accounts and 1 host, 1 alert. That means it formed a use case wherein 3 of them detected that the login was failed within 10 minutes. So there are 3 processes. These are the full details if you want to understand the KQL query, which gives the same process a little bit more in-depth value. Okay, if you check here 3 events, if you click on the events, this will get popped up and you can understand what exactly is the time process. It's exactly what is written over in the top, but it's little bit more detailed. So you can see what kind of event ID is this. 4625. What exactly is this? 4625. Any idea? What is that? 4625 event ID. Okay, yes, it's login failures. Account failed to log on. Use the event ID. That's why you will see different situations. So failure login, right? So where is the account type? The user will be mentioned over here, and the count. This is the pretty much the query which gives you the same structure knowledge of above. Okay, this is in terms of query. If few people are comfortable reading the query, few people are comfortable reading this. Okay, so as you can see, there are 3 events. As you learned earlier, you saw 3 events, right? 3 events are there and 3 accounts are there. So these are the 3 events. You see 1, 2, 3, right? And these are different users. So that's why there is 3 account here and 3 events are there. Okay, so you can see 3, 3, 3. Okay, and you can see the number of failed login count. It's 37, 78, 23. There are people who did it multiple times who has done this particular event. Okay. There could be a number of reasons. There could be an attack. There could be some different, they would have forgotten the password. Maybe the password got expired. Every 3 months, once you have to change the password in an organization, right? Hopefully you remember that. So that could have been expired and people might not know and they will be clicking their own old password. That's why it will be triggering in that way. Okay, so we'll check what could be the reason. It could be an attack also. Somebody would have compromised the credentials and trying to access that particular process or done a session hijacking process, trying to compromise the particular account. Okay, we'll see what kind of situation this is. Click on one event to see the detailed information about the activities of the event. Here we have to collect the workstation name, username, and the timestamp. Okay, these are pretty much necessary to do our further research about this particular process. So we'll be gathering these details. Okay, once you have gathered, why it will be 3 alerts? It will be only 1 alert. See, we are checking an alert. We are running a query. We are checking a query we ask, so same thing if you do in the Splunk, right? Query for whoever is there. So we use user equals to star wherein account logon failed. Okay, so we give this as a category account logon failed, and we'll do a search for 24 hours, right? So within time frame, time chart is equal to 10 minutes. So when we give, won't you get all the person's details whose account logged on failed within 10 minutes? You'll get a number of details, right? There could be many people who have done the same process, right? So this will form an entire one alert, right? The account, the alert, it depends on the alert, what kind of alert that has been that has been used, right? Certainly, we'll get account failed to log on individually. We'll get to the 3 different attacks, but when it sums up to 10 minutes as a whole, right? So account failed within 10 minutes. So there could be number of users who would have failed the account in 10 minutes, right? So that is what it's there. There are 3 events. There are 3 users who failed the events 10 minutes, right? So that's why there is a certain process, right? Yes, what you said is true. There should be different for different account, but they have merged it. They have merged it for some reason. Okay, it's little weird for me as well to see 3 different accounts in this particular point in time, but it's also reasonable. It's also reasonable that you see different use cases on based on the, because the use case itself is like that. So you can see the use case failed a login attempt within 10 minutes. So you can't tell that for 10 minutes there are different users, right? So it's summing up the whole process. It's summing up the whole process. So alert is 1, the events are 3, accounts are 3. It's already giving us the information. So in few cases it will be like that, but in our case everything will be individual. So you'll see certain difference. It depends on organization to organization. So you can't complain about it, right? Somebody who has written the use case, he would have done it. So we'll have to work on with what we get, right? So, but still in our organization, we get it everything differently. Okay, it depends on the correlation. Maybe his correlation was to identify people who has done it. Maybe this alert is not that frequent. That's why they have summed it up. Okay, but usually it doesn't have like that. So you'll get individual details. That means you'll see individual. You'll see 3 alerts of that particular process. Okay, maybe just to fine tune the alert, they would have done this. Maybe fine tune. There are a number of reasons why this could be possible. Fine tuning the alert, because we fine tune the alert only when this particular process is very low. Okay, that's the reason. Second thing is to make sure that the alert is not frequent, because they'll be getting some other alert more frequently and too much. To sum up that, to reduce that particular event, there are only one alert this particular event has. Okay, there could be number of different reasons, but usually we'll get it differently. Hopefully you'll also see in the future differently, but it's pretty rare case scenario that we'll find these kinds of issues in one hand. Depends on the use case as well of the owner, what they write. If they want the use case to write differently, then you'll find different alert. But if it's the same issue that's been happening, why not put it to same, right? So they would have thought about it like that, because at the end we'll merge it, because it's the same alert, we'll merge it to all together. And if the alert is pretty much common, we'll merge it, right? If the situations are pretty common for all 3, we'll merge it and we'll close it, right? So it's pretty much the same thing. They would have done it in that way, but usually we see different, okay, depending on the use case, what they write. So as we gathered workstations in different time step, okay, now for investigation, we must check the status code and the substatus code for the events. Okay, so here we already know what this is, 4625, right? So we'll already know that is basically account login failure. So we'll have to check on the status code. So here is the status. This will give you a much depth or idea what exactly is going on. Okay, status and substatus will give you the much idea. So it's already been written here. Saying as per the screenshot, status code are run below. So you can see status code 6D. Okay, 6D is there, and status code, substatus code 6A is there. So this will determine what exactly has happened during the login failure. So here 6D tells that this is due to bad username or authentication information. Okay, bad username or authentication. Okay, so this could be either an attacker or could be the user himself. So let's look at the substatus. Okay, username is incorrect but password is wrong. Username is correct but password is wrong, right? So we have a short idea that this was due to a password failure, right? It was not due to a bad username or a bad process. It was due to a password failure. Because of this, we identified that this was a password failure. Okay, so we'll do our further detail. What exactly is going on? Okay, so open Azure ATP tool. Okay, then click on the search option and mention the username to get more information about this. Okay, this will basically, it's like a it's advanced threat protection tool, basically determining what if in case there was a malicious indicator of basically a malicious activity that could be found here. So basically what we are doing is checking out the user's detail, user's whole process of networking process. Okay, so here in the Azure ATP, we will get the sign-in details and the other details as well. Okay, you will get all the details in terms of whatever the user tried. It's basically picking up from EDR as well. Same time, it will be feeding here. Okay, so here you are gathering the details of username, email, SAM name, office, and domain. Okay, you're gathering all these details. UEBA. 1 second, when I'll get into it. Let me not break up from here. Okay, also we will get the sign in activity details with the timestamp. So you already got the sign in time here already, right? We'll already get the two correlate with each other. Okay, in the below screenshot we'll see how many times user have entered the wrong password. So here so here we'll get to know once you do a search on this, right? This will be the next process where it pops up. Open security alerts, there is 0, right? Logged on computers, there is 5. Accessed resources is 6, and this is 5. Okay, this is the process. Email ID, phone number, and other details will be here. And you can see here today, yesterday, and around that particular timestamp which we already saw, which got triggered, failed log on to ISLLTZ. Okay, using a wrong password. Okay, using a wrong password, he has authenticated few of the process. That means this is not happened everywhere. It has only happened in this particular point in time, right? So as per analysis, now we came to know that the user is using wrong password in an office laptop, hence his alert is generated. Okay, so now we'll give a recommendation saying that, you know, to raise a CMR ticket to reset the user's password. Okay, to reset the user's password, we'll raise a CMR request. These are the steps to create a CMR request. Okay, I never used this particular tool, so I'm also new to this. Okay, open CMR portal, log into the credentials, save services. After that, click on cases. In the service itself, there are new cases. Click on new cases. Run the new case. This is pretty much a ticketing tool that you are raising to use the process. Yesterday we spoke about Snow and Remedy Force, right? This is also one more ticketing tool. It's pretty much the same. Open new case, enter the resolution request, find the customer zone, case type, and whom is assigned to IT support, right? So these are the few of the things that you will be mentioning in the new case while creating a new case. Select security event in application. Okay, choose it as security. Okay, in application, what is your domain? Your domain, you'll be mentioning your domain as security in an application area. Then mention the description, what exactly has happened about the alert, and click on submit. Okay, so you'll be mentioning all the details, whatever is necessary. It's pretty easy. You can pretty much work on it with easily. Okay. After creating a CMR ticket, we need to send an email to the same with all the details to the IT help desk. Okay, so mention the CMR name and Azure Sentinel incident number in the subject line and send out a email saying that kindly create a kindly reset the below user's password and send out. This is 2.2, guys. I'm not sure why they are using CMR in the first place. It's a little weird. Must be something wrong. Okay, this is the same thing. Okay, but this is a little weird for me also. I don't know why they are raising ticket at the same time sending an email also. So doesn't make any sense. Okay. For yeah, we are creating an incident for failed login. So basically, we are telling that the user is facing failed password alerts, wherein the user tried to log in. You know that in this detail that this guy tried to do this particular process. Okay, failed login attempts and it got failed due to wrong password. Okay, that means we are trying to reset his password itself. Okay, so we know that this is the case, but this is little weird because in Snow Ticket we can raise individually also. Even you can once this the process is sent, right, you don't have to send it again for the email. Through the email you don't have to send it. Okay, because you are already attaching all the details and it will go in the email format itself to the user. In Snow and all it will happen in that way. Okay, but I'm not sure why they are sending it again in the email. This doesn't make sense. Either you send it through email, which will convert itself as a ticket if you attach the right people, or if you create IT help desk, it will directly go to the Snow ticket itself and create a ticket automatically, or else you can go and create a ticket. I'm not sure why we are doing two things here. It's a little weird, but the playbook says as it is. So you see there are different solutions here. So hope you're able to find this interesting, and was this easy? Was this step process easy? Hopefully you can do the same thing when you're in your organization and you deal with the different alerts, right? Just wanted to give a brief idea. I found it from one of our friends process. Okay, there are other playbook, but this is the most detailed. Even I was pretty much shocked to see this many details. Okay, because there isn't any I never saw anywhere giving in this accuracy. So they have mentioned every individual step. Click here, click there, go here, click there. This is pretty new to me as well. Okay, but this is, so click here service now and create use cases. No, there will be only one thing, that is create a CMR request, create a ticket. That's it. This is the next level that they have provided. The use cases pretty good. I think this is one of the best playbook that I have seen so far, because it's in so depth and so detailed. Usually it will be only the outer surface, scratching the outer surface. That's it. Okay. This will take what? Hardly 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes max. 15 minutes max. If you are new, if you're doing it as new, it will take little time, or maybe half an hour or 45 minutes it will take. Or else, if you're already been seeing this a couple of times, for me, it will take only 10 minutes to resolve this issue. Okay, so it's nothing major. It's one of the lowest process login attempts. Okay, but if you find it hard to identifying the, no, you can take the screenshot. I'm not being able to share this because confidential matters, because there are certain other things also at the top. So I have to send it everything as a whole. So I cannot share. You can take a screenshot, guys. I'll give you the screenshot because there are other few contents as well. And slides. These slides. No, man, that's the reason I said because slides, this doesn't hold any important. These slides holds an important. I can give you the other things, but the slides hold a little importance. But you can take a screenshot. I'll zoom it to you for you. You can take a screenshot easily. Okay. If the interview asks what is playbook, how to explain in simple words, or we have to explain it all. See, if you tell what is playbook, then you can tell it's a set of procedures that are used to document and resolve the issue during a certain time frame, right? So you can mention it. What exactly is playbook? You don't have to mention. He did not ask what is login attempts, right? So he will ask what exactly is playbook and how will you utilize playbook at a certain point. So your answer should be in terms of So suppose there is something new, right? Some new alert use case that have been triggered, which is not seen pretty often. Then we'll use Playbook to follow the detailed steps and procedures to in order to isolate and further prevent the issue, right? So you don't have to explain it all. If they ask you to, they'll not ask individually, but they'll ask you, have you worked on any playbook creations or done any playbook creations? So if you want, you can explain this, or else you can tell that we just follow the playbook to do the process. Okay. You don't need these guys. You don't need this. You just need the steps. That's all. This you don't have to zoom and check and stuff like that, because you will never be working in Sentinel. It's not sure that you will be working in Azure Sentinel itself. It could be any ticketing tool. So for you, this is pretty much good enough, I guess. Not sure what you have shared. What is? Okay, 1 minute, guys. I'm sorry about that. Something got triggered. What is this? Somebody has shared some playbook. Not sure what that is. So you have taken the screenshot already. That is good, man. See, Mohammed has shared already the. Someone has. Somebody has already saved the PDF. You can check it out. You can grab it. Yeah, he has shared the screenshot. Please grab it from there, guys. It'll be pretty useful. Okay, I'll tell you how I write the playbook. Okay, I have removed a few major of the stuff. Okay, this is related to a malware outbreak process. I've removed few other process as well. So you can see there's a different playbook here altogether. Okay, which I'll be explaining later in the future. This is related to a malware outbreak that occurs and what are the necessary steps you'll have to deal with, right? There were a few other stuffs also. I've removed it. Okay. Because I just wanted to give you a this is a very huge. There are up to what close to 40 what you call pointers. So I've limited it to only certain things that is required for your understanding. This is related to a malware outbreak. If in case the malware outbreak has happened, what are the necessary steps that will be taken care of? Okay, this is what it's mentioned. There are few other details, but those things are little confidential, so I have not put this. This is my use case which I created for our organization. Okay, but there are few other depths also, but that will actually, I have signed the confidential agreement, so I can't reveal all that. So, but this will certainly give you a little bit more depth on when the malware outbreak happens, what kind of issues that you will be facing, right? How you will deal with. So this I have written in a way, like I've removed and rewritten in a way that is easier for you to explain in the interview. Okay, this is not how to analyze this process, because I don't think so you'll understand even if the steps are there. This is pretty much difficult because this is a malware outbreak process. When a malware outbreak happen, what are the necessary steps are there? That is up to that. But you can pretty much mention these kinds of questions will be there in the interview also, like when a malware outbreak happens, what is your major step, right? If it's successful, what is your major step, right? So in terms of that, in terms of interview questions, I have pretty much written this. Okay, I'm pretty much good to share it also. I'll be sharing this in the future as well. Okay, when I speak about this, right? When I talk about this, I'll share this document. Okay, don't worry, you don't have to take a screenshot of it. I'll be sharing this. Okay, confidential thing I've already removed, but this is solely for the interview basis. It's not a use case. I would say it's not a playbook. I say it was a playbook, but I have converted that playbook to interview questions. Okay, so you can take few pointers and explain to the interview how in your organization, when you're trying to convince them in your organization, you will try to deal with it. Okay, few pointers are pretty much enough. You don't have to go in depth and explain every bit of process. Just the outer lining. These are all the outer lining surfaces that we have covered up. Okay, cool. That we'll be learning in the future. Okay, so playbook. Did you guys understand? This is a pretty neat playbook, guys, because even in our organization, we don't mention everything in this detail. Okay, so because there are no what do you say, freshers in our organization, so everybody knows what they are working with, so everything is slightly normed in the sense it's already been removed. Few of the details we never mention, how to create a CR request, all these things, create new, click here, click there. No, just it will be only one thing. Create a CMR request. Open, okay, only this will be there. Open using credentials and raise a CMR request. That's it. But this is pretty much in detail. So hopefully you have the screenshot, and if you you can pretty much do about this. Okay. Any question, guys? Any question? Do you have any question? Yes. No. Maybe. Any question, guys? See, playbook is there in all the organizations, so you can utilize that. Here we have only one playbook, which is pretty much necessary. We can't give all the playbooks, right? So this is just to understand how the playbook is and how in every organization it will help you for further analysis, further understanding of analysis. So playbook is there to help you guys out, right? Even in every organization, playbook will be there, wherein SOPs, set of procedures will be mentioned to for you to help with the removal of process, right? What example? What do you want? Please explain the example. What example, man? Playbook, you mean? This is a real-time example. Weren't you listening? This is a real-time example of a situation. This is a real alert, and this is a real-time example of an incident, of an alert that took place. Why you need an explain with an example? This is an example of an alert. So there are detailed steps of a particular alert which are there in a step-by-step way. Right, what you have to do, where you have to check, where you have to go, state what and all you have to check is already there. You are pretty eager to get attendance, man. Are you going somewhere? There is one more topic need to be covered. People, if you have to log in or you have to work, let me know, or else I'll take the attendance when the class is getting over. Okay. Sumit, man, this is the example. If you see here, this is the example. I'm not sure how else we can explain, because this is certainly the way of how you will be doing in an process. Okay, but in the future, for I'll give you an example for a phishing that will be conducted tomorrow. I'll make you understand in terms of diagrammatic way. Okay, maybe that will definitely help you out. But this is already in such a good format that you don't need example. This is a real-time example. Real-time example. Okay, so you don't need any examples apart from this. This is an example. Okay. Anybody knows what exactly is brute force attack? What is brute force? Can you tell me what exactly is brute force? Login failures is not a brute force. Please don't mention that answer in the interview. Not password guessing attack. We don't call it as a password guessing attack. Not a password attack. No. Let's try to form, a good name to it. Okay. We'll not take it as a password guessing attack. No, you will not tell. Okay. When they talk what is a brute force attack, what exactly is a brute force attack? It's basically a trial and error combination attacks of password. Okay, basically trial and error of combinations of password. Trial and error method. Yes, exactly. Okay, don't tell guessing of password. It's basically you have to form a particular answer, right? So you can't tell in a layman term words, right? You don't never mention when you're listening to the interview, never mention in layman term words saying that it's a guessing attack, it's a guessing of user password and username. No, don't mention like that. It's a trial and error method, okay, of combination of passwords, okay, in order to crack the particular credential, okay. So that's how you have to present it yourself. So because in the interview, no matter how much knowledge you have, doesn't matter. You have to make it presentable, right? So that will be the key factor to crack the interview. So having so much of experience and you're not being able to present yourself with the answer, then it's a bad thing. So I would also suggest, yesterday also I mentioned, please focus on the vocabularies and at the same time your communication as well. Okay, improve that because your confidence and communication will only will give 50% of your chance of success rate in terms of interview. Okay. Okay. So guessing of password, that is what you guys said, right, in layman term words. So brute force basically is a trial and error combination. Trial and error. Okay. So can you tell me? This is pretty straightforward. Okay. User is pretty much trying to steal the credential, right? So he's trying to not steal, basically trying to log in and pretty much trying to get access to the data, right? So do you guys know any tools that the attacker might use? Any basic tools, any 2-3 tools that you know that they use for brute force attack? Do you guys have any idea? Okay, John the Ripper, good. Anything else? Metasploit, Medusa, Aircrack NG, right? There's different structures, right? Hydra, okay. So Aircrack, yes, Aircrack NG. So there are different situations wherein they'll pretty much use different texts to hack the particular process. All right. So what are the preventions? Can anybody tell what are the preventions that can be made? Can you guys tell me what are the preventions that can be made in order to prevent a brute force attack? No, we can't directly block that account. No. That's not a way. Changing the password frequently. No, you can't change the password frequently, man. It's a problem. Not frequently, at least. There's a certain time frame. There are many other things. Account locker. No. Preventions. No. This is pretty easy, guys. This is pretty easy question. Password policy. Why are you going so depth and all? No. Come on, come on. What Azure and all that. Simple prevention methods. Okay, guys are way too much talking about the outer stuff. That's good. Rate limiting is there. Don't go to tools. Let's talk about the general stuff. Okay, not going to Azure tools. No, if tools are there, why you are required, right? I need a prevention mechanism without tools, right? Somebody said rate the limit. That is also good. Minimize the attempt. That is good. Complex password. That is good. Multi authentication, right? Multi-factor authentication. That's the main thing, right? So every organization use multi-factor authentication, right? So I need to hear those things first, not Azure, not account something, no. Okay. Yes, using number, complexity of passwords, using different structures. Yeah. Increase the length of password, increase the complexity, right? The length should be more than 12. Okay, less than 15. So that should be the criteria. Okay. Increase the complexity, use special characteristics within the password, right? Use OTP, MFA, right? CAPTCHA. So these are the, yes, CAPTCHA. So these are the few prevention methods that we can use. So CAPTCHA is used for web authentication. When you're doing a web authentication, making sure that you are not a bot and you're a person who is being able to identify the pictures, right? So CAPTCHA is pretty much good for web authentication. MFA, multi-factor authentication, is for logging in accounts. So when you're trying to log in accounts, you have multi-factor authentication to pretty much log in to other process. When you're logging into web servers, right, you will get OTPs to your normal messages, right? Your password complexity. So these are the few things. No, not keystroke. Okay, these are the few things that will be done there. Okay, but rate limiting. Somebody said rate limiting. We can decrease number of failures. So more than 3 times your account will get locked out. So making account, if the account is getting failed, if it's not being able to authenticate more than 3 times or more than 5 times, it should be blocked, right? You should get an alert. So that's a good way to prevent this brute force attack. Okay, so you understand, right? So brute force attack at this point in time wouldn't serve much purpose, because first thing is the alert will already be generated. You can pretty much block that particular process easily. Okay, so in this era, brute force will not work. So I've written a small code which replicates brute force attack. The reason I mentioned the short code is because my system cannot handle that process. Okay, the reason being, and you know, right, how long it will take to crack a password with complexity? Do you know how long it will take to crack the password? Or can I get the number? If you know, there isn't any certain number, but what happened to my system? What? 3 minutes to crack to do brute force? Come on, man. No. Hmm. No, not this one. Hold on. No. See, I will give you. There was a set of process. There was a. Did you get that? I think this is the one. So I'll tell you why it's not pretty much. This is way too much, but I found out pretty simple in a simple way. See here. This is pretty much easy. Okay, I don't need anything else. So you can see here 8 characteristics password. That's why I said earlier 12 and above. Okay, you'll see the difference. 8 characteristics long password. You can see with only lowercase it can be cracked instantly. Okay, 12 characteristics, same thing which can be cracked instantly will take several weeks. Okay, one upper characteristics. Okay, it will take half an hour, but with 12 characteristics it will take 5 years. Okay, one number if you add along with small and uppercase characteristics, it will take 1 hour to crack 8 characteristics password, 8 long characteristics. Okay, but it will take 2000 years to crack a 12 characteristics password. But if you put a special symbol, let's say if you have numbers, you have small uppercase, you have special characteristics also, it will take only 1 day to crack a 8-digit password. Okay, but it will take 63,000 years to crack a 12-digit password. So you know why we in an organization they'll tell about 12 and above. 8 if you put 8 or 9 or 10 if you put, it will be cracked at some point. Okay, but if you put, the complexity increases. So because there are close to 200,000 billion combinations. Okay, if you put more than this of all these special characteristics, numbers, uppercase, lowercase, 200 billion. Okay, so that's the reason we put always all these included along with 12 and above. So it will be a standard in every organization. You have to mention password above 212 and above, and it will be changing in every 3 months as well. Okay, this is the time frame. So hopefully you understood, right, why we require this much and this much amount of time. That's why I tell you cracking brute force attack is not I mean it's not something that an attacker would do right now, right? It's not possible because the tools are there, the necessary details are there to do the process. Okay, this is a small code that I've written, pretty much similar to brute force, but I'll do a small process. Okay, I'll enter the password. Okay, this is very small one, that's why it will get immediately. Okay, so it's checking for different combinations of passwords. So you can see at the end it will give the password which I have given. Okay, this is how you can pretty much detect, because it's tried. This is a brute force basically. You can see different number of combinations, right? Different combinations it has given to finally identify. This can be automated in a large scale. For a big environment who has around 8 digit of password, I can crack it within 1 day. I need a good system to crack this. I'll be able to crack this entirely. Okay, if it's 8 and below, or 8 or 9. About 12, no system can. Even the supercomputer will take thousands of years to crack. Okay, super hybrid computers. Okay, but this is a small example to show you how a brute force would work. Okay, it will give you a rough idea and rough calculation how a particular brute force would work. Got it, guys? Did you understand how the brute force work? Did you see the process? So you saw what kind of combination it did, right? Trial and error method. It did a number of combination. Finally, it came to a conclusion saying that this was the password. Okay, this was the exact password which I triggered. Got it, guys? Understood? Just to give us brief explanation how a trial and combination password attacks will use. Okay, this is a small code that I have written to pretty much give this stability. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know what is happening. Any questions? Did you understand how passwords attack has been made? Yeah. Many people are sleeping, I know still. In the interview also you'll be sleeping, don't worry. Have any doubt, you can talk about it. And please don't forget the assignment. Okay, DLP, one more. I want the document whoever in the shared in the group. Okay, I'll see whoever done that particular request. Okay, learn about that particular process. Okay, give a brief about it, what you understood. You can share a document, whatever you understood in terms of incident response, 21 to 47 page, and one more is DLP. So you can share two of the document in the group, and I'll check it. Okay. I'll see who has the hunger to get a job. I'll get to know with that. Okay. Trust me, if you try, you will get a job. If you don't try, you will never get a job. Even no matter how much certification you, whatever course you join, you will never get a job unless you try. Okay. At the end, cracking the interview will be in your own hands. Nobody will crack it for you. Right? It will be in your own hands and depends on the actions that you take right now. What sort of action you take right now will determine if you are able to crack the interview or not. So if you do not take any actions right now and if you don't focus on any of the things, you will never be able to crack. Okay. Because I see people who are coming with a very good number of experience, but they won't be knowing anything. Okay. And no matter how many good technologies they have worked on in the number of years, without knowledge, they won't succeed. Okay, that's why I tell you, learn as much as possible, ask questions, don't dream and sit, because I've taken majority of the interviews and I've seen people struggle to answer few silly questions, okay, which will be answered by a fresher. So you understand, right, where I'm going through. So you need to work hard for certain stuff. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be learning about how we'll identify a phishing email when in an if you're a SOC analyst, how you will be trained to identify a phishing email. Okay, what are the things to check? What are the different categories are in place, and what kind of interview questions will be asked when it comes to phishing? So those are the things that we'll be learning. So tomorrow is definitely important. So we are taking up a notch. So yesterday and today were some good and brief instructions of certain topics, but tomorrow we'll be learning entirely on how analyzing things work, what are the different phishing attacks that you will be facing, different combinations of phishing, and how you will identify if it's that particular mail is phishing or not. Okay, and I'll give you the background scenario how to identify that as well. Okay, so that you will be able to identify which email is phishing or which is not. Got it? All right, guys, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow. Hopefully this was a good session for you, brute force and other stuff. Okay, hopefully I understood something. And someone had asked about some examples related to Playbook. I'll be explaining you a few in an example. Today was a brief example, but anyway, for your understanding, hopefully you'll understand it tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch up tomorrow. All right, take care. Okay, see ya.